And what's up, everybody? Back with another episode of the Talking NASCAR podcast. Usually, I'd say I was joined by Hitmaster. However, I don't know where he is. That's why I'm still in the Discord VC because in case he's jumps on at any point. I know podcasts aren't usually done solo, and I didn't want to do it solo. We were supposed to record it last night. He canceled last second, and we were supposed to do it earlier tonight, and he has not gotten back to me in over almost 2 hours. So I'm tired of waiting. I can still talk. Come on, guys. Come on. You know me. Because we got a lot on the docket. Usually I wouldn't be too mad about it. We just skip over the week and move on. However, we got to talk about Auto Club because it was his last weekend of operations under the current configuration, and we got to get it done. So we're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk all about that. Obviously, I'm just trying to get the camera reoriented here. All right, hold on. There we go. And then we talk about all the stuff that happened that weekend and give it a little final farewell. We got some other news stuff as well, including a couple of big things that came out this week. Some news, including some very recent news that just happened. And at the end, we'll preview Las Vegas. Which actually, that race is probably already underway at the time this goes up because I got to talk for about an hour. Then I got to upload it, which will take about another hour. So it'll be a while. But here we go. So what we talk about? First, talk about Auto Club. I'm going to do a little bit unorthodox style. I usually would talk about the Xfinity and the Cup Series ran this weekend. So I would usually talk about the Xfinity first and then the Cup race. I'm going to do a little unorthodox because the Cup race ran first because the Xfinity race got delayed by a day due to rain. It's pretty unorthodox for a California race to be rain delayed nowadays, but hey, anything's possible. So we're going to talk about the Cup race first. Like last year, which put on a really good race at Auto Club with the next gen car, this race also was really good and very competitive too. I was very surprised. I wouldn't say it was as exciting as last year's race because of the fact that it just wasn't as competitive. It was still extremely competitive, though. There's a lot of back and forth racing. A lot of cars came and went throughout the race. Saw Ross Chastain dominate the first couple stages. And Kyle Busch came through near the end. We saw a lot of drivers run pretty good. Some shorter spurts. So it was definitely good overall racing. And Kyle Busch getting the win in pretty dominant fashion near the end. He dominated that third stage. Apparently because of some Black Cat magic, maybe, with Ross Chastain encountering the Black Cat and whatever near the end of the second stage. And it really brings up the question, did Kyle Busch finally revive RCR? They've been kind of not great since Kevin Harvick left about 10 years ago, almost. It was 10 years ago that he ran his final season with RCR in the 29. And so it really does bring the question up, does he revive RCR with his skill and talent? Because we've also seen Austin Dillon, only through a few races, but through the Clash, the 500, and then also in this race he ran pretty well as well. So there's definitely 3 good runs from Austin Dillon there. So maybe he's going to finally break through and start consistently winning races again, which it would be crazy to see, and it'd be good to see, I think, for the future of the team. Since I think Art Childress is probably going to pour a lot more of his care and effort into his grandson than to a random guy called Kyle Busch. And so whatever. It wasn't all good news for a lot of the other drivers, though. 2 crew members for Martin Truex Jr.'s team were suspended because of Truex had a loose wheel on the racetrack during the race, so they got suspended. And speaking of Kyle Busch again, his win streak continues. He has now gone 19 consecutive seasons with at least 1 win, dating all the way back to his rookie year when he won for this first time of his career at Auto Club in 2005. So that's pretty cool. We also saw the biggest wreck ever at Auto Club, ever, 10 cars, which was a little surprising to me. I remember in 2009 in the second race, there was a really big crash on a restart, and surprising that didn't collect 10 cars. Those seems like a little small for the biggest wreck ever at Auto Club, but it was also on a restart, collected a bunch of cars to add a little bit extra to the race. And then Kyle Busch won, obviously, did it in dominant fashion. He was already locked into the New Year's Eve Spectacular, so it's not that big a deal. But alas, it is still a win for him, which is really, really good. So it shows that the 8 car is still good, even without Tyler Reddick. Like, it's more. Maybe it was Tyler Reddick. I don't know. He's not been that great these first couple races, but he has been caught up in some crashes, so you can't really give him too much fault there. But whatever. And then the Xfinity race was a lot more of the same. It was ran the same day as the Cup race at night, so a couple of drivers did run both races. I believe Austin Dillon did. I believe Tyler Reddick did for sure. I believe Austin Dillon did. I don't think many others did. They had Logano and Blaney in the booth for the race with Adam Alexander, which it really is weird to me how the drivers they bring in. Here's the thing. They do it better in the Xfinity races where they have drivers drivers come in and do the broadcast with usually, in this case, Adam Alexander. In the Cup case, it's Mike Joy. And I think they do it better in the Xfinity Series, but that's also because they have access to more drivers, because a lot of the Cup drivers don't race the Xfinity races, whereas they're obviously going to run the Cup races, so it's that you get that to it. So, there you go, I guess. But overall, I mean, it was a shorter race. I don't think it was as good as the Cup race. I definitely think it was a little more green flag-esque, drawn out. But overall, I think it was a pretty good race, all things considered. There was definitely a lot more 3-wide action, especially in the beginning. There was a lot more big pack racing and whatnot. That made it a lot more fun as a whole. So that was pretty good. And then John Hunter Nemechek ends up getting the win. It was a really good finish, I thought. And the Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier for Junior Motorsports barely getting the win, barely not winning. Another Junior Motorsports heartbreak turmoil there. But overall, for Auto Club's final weekend of action, at least in its current configuration, maybe ever, we'll get to that in a minute, I thought it was a pretty good weekend of racing overall. We didn't see anything super crazy. We didn't see anything like 2013-esque. We didn't even see anything like kind of last year-esque. But we definitely saw good racing. And it kind of sucks because we've seen the next-gen car be so good at some of these tracks that really didn't show up a lot in the Gen 6 car. Pocono, Michigan, not really Michigan, but kind of. I guess kind of Michigan too, but Auto Club especially, not Texas. But Texas is kind of the exception because it sucks. So it's definitely good to see it show up, and it's put on some great races at Auto Club over the last couple of years. It sucks to see it go. There's a big reason for why they're doing it. Apparently, the land it sits on is worth over $500 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Over $500 million. So, yeah, they've got a lot of real estate sitting on there. And, the plan is to make it a short track, a half-mile track. So they're going to sell off 80% of the land and then keep the other 20% to redevelop into the short track. And then they're also going to lease some more land for parking on race weekends and stuff. But there's been a lot of rumors going around that they're gonna be enticed to try and that companies are going to force them to sell the whole thing if they're gonna sell it, and therefore they won't have any room to build the track, and it will not ever happen. Now keep in mind, Auto Club's not going to be on the 2024 schedule at all. this configuration, if it does happen, will only happen in 2025. Will start in 20. Will have its debut in 2025. So that brings up to the question: what's going to happen with the Clash of the Coliseum? Is it going? Are they going to run the LA Coliseum in the regular season next year? Are they not? Are they going to go away from LA? What's going to happen there? So I think there's a lot of uncertainty with the Southern California market right now. I definitely think they could just get away with just having the Clash and the Coliseum, and maybe moving a points race somewhere else to fill Auto Club's slot. Where that would be, I don't know. They could give a second date back to Michigan, which is a very similar style of track to Auto Club, minus it being it's a lot smoother of a track because it was repaved in the last 10 years. Well, actually about 11 now. But other than that, it's the same kind of like shape and speed levels and stuff. So they could give Michigan its second date back. I would love that. They could, if they wanted to get more short tracks on the schedule, they might add another short track. They might move North Wilkesboro up to a points race next year. That's also a possibility, especially if Rockingham is coming back. Then they can move the All-Star race to possibly Rockingham, or vice versa. Keep it at North Wilkesboro and move a points race to Rockingham. They might add another date and another track or whatever. So there's definitely a lot of possibilities for what they could do. But a lot of people are being kind of pessimistic that Auto Club will never come back. I personally think it will. As a short track, though, I don't know how it will work. We'll get to why I'm a little optimistic about actually becoming a short track because of changes. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, though, in the podcast. But this configuration has been around since the track's debut in the 90s. I think that is it's going to be missed. I think for sure. I've not always been the biggest Auto Club fan. I think especially in the later Gen 6 era, it provided some really, really boring racing. In fact, the only good race prior to this year or last year that I can remember was 2013, and that was because of the finish and the fights and stuff like that. And obviously, it provided a lot of good moments. I mean, Jimmy Johnson won his first race there. Kyle Busch won his first race there. So it's played host to a lot of big moments in NASCAR's history. But it's been an all right track. But I think it was going in the right direction, and not anymore, alas. So farewell, Auto Club. We salute you. Good luck wherever you may go. All right, moving on to some other news stuff. The Project 56 car that they're running in Le Mans in about a couple weeks. They're going to run the number 24. They announced that. It's going to be the number 24. So, sorry about that. They're going to run the number 24 for that. The other big news out of this week was the fact that NASCAR is updating the short track package. So what this is going to mean is, the road courses last year really weren't great. Especially Martinsville was very boring. Bristol I thought wasn't great either, at least in the paved configuration. The dirt was, the dirt. But they are going to fix that, hopefully, for this year, at least attempting to fix it. So the configuration redo is as follows. The spoiler height is going to be cut in half. There will be underside removals and changes to reduce downforce by up to 30%. Or by 30%. And that's huge because... short tracks, you really don't need to run a lot of a downforce configuration. You really just need to have high horsepower and strong turning abilities. So I definitely think that will take away a lot of the aerodynamic aspect of running the short tracks, which I think in turn will make them more exciting. which is why I'm optimistic about Auto Club being a short track and working as it going forward. So if they choose to run it like that, so it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens there. Um, for it to work, definitely pretty optimistic about it. I think that will work, and I think it can happen. So I'm pretty excited about that. So to make the cars run better. Other news: Kurt Busch is still not cleared to race. Remember, he got injured in that concussion. He is not cleared to race.
Hey, can I change the lights to purple?
No. So that is quite interesting, in fact, that he is not cleared to race at all.
Sorry,
Still.
bro. I need to play the game because I miss your rants.
Another big news: Lego is going to be a new partner licensee with NASCAR. In fact, they've already released. They've made it and announced it. I don't know if it's actually been formally released yet, but they are releasing a next gen Lego set for the next gen Camaro. It's part of their, I think it's the Technics series. So not like a full fledged thing. It's just gonna be the car set. So that's pretty cool. There's been like Connect, and like that kind of stuff. I think there's even been Duplo stuff for NASCAR before. I don't think there's ever been an official NASCAR like Lego set though. So that's really cool that they're finally getting into that. Though Legos are like $100 for like a small set now because plastic reduction. But alas, it's cool they're getting in the game, even if it's a little late. Other huge news. So Kevin Harvick is retiring at the end of the season.
I am so sorry.
Oh, hold on. Welcome back. I already started talking. So, but I didn't get too far though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's alright. It's alright.
Oh, the one that you got on right now.
Fell asleep not knowing my alarm didn't go off.
You got right now because it's like styled.
Rip. Ladies and gentlemen, Hitmaster is alive and well.
Yeah.
Alas. Okay. I'll just speed run what we did. First off, your thoughts on the weekend at Auto Club. Look at that first.
So you said we're on Auto Club, right?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the weekend and its final weekend of action?
Um. So it was interesting. Um. I think it was mostly wrecks left and right. Um. Just wrecks one lap and then it comes around and then you just wreck again. Especially at a time when they just wrecked on the restart. Um, that just proves how old this track is, and it just needs to. It needs to go. My opinion.
So you're happy to see it go.
Yes,
Okay.
but at the same time, I'm not because it's a very old track, and I grew up on that.
So what are your so do you here's a question: did Kyle Busch revive RCR? Is RCR back after the whole weekend?
I think. I don't think. yet, because um, I think he still has to win more races. But the way he drove, kinda is okay. Um, I mean he drove like he's supposed to and everything, and he went out there and won. So I mean, it all determines what's going to happen this coming up week. If he wins all 3 races, then possibly he'll be one of those first year with the team and wins the championship. It'll be my favorite to win the championship. So
Interesting, interesting. So, a lot of rumors going around about Auto Club. Of course, they sold 80% of the land already, and for over $500 million, by the way. And but there's rumors going around that they're going to sell the rest of it and not even build the new short track. What are your do you think Auto Club's coming back? Do you think it's what do you think is going to happen with it?
I think Auto Club will be the track that will be known as like the big track. Possibly won't ever come back, knowing that because they just destroyed it. But I feel like all the fans and everyone they'll do something. They'll do something. Um, Even with this short track that's being made, I feel like it's gonna get more better and more popular than these other short tracks that are popular right now. Like it'll be better than Bristol. It'll be better than Martinsville. Like
Bold
it
statement.
won't be better than North Wilkesboro.
Well, I don't know if North Wilkesboro officially counts as a short track. It might. I don't know. All right, looking at your thoughts on something else here before. Well, actually, yeah, before we get back to track. So you hear about the news rules package for short tracks. They're going to cut the spoilers in half, take out some of the front under pieces to reduce downforce by 30% to try and make the races better. Get your thoughts on that real quick before we get back.
It seems interesting to me because usually you rarely see those kind of things. Um, but I like it.
Yeah,
I really do. I like it. I think there's going to be a lot of change to the car, and hopefully it gets more interesting.
And are you going to buy the Lego Next Gen Camaro set? It's coming out, or it's already out. I don't remember.
Most likely, yes.
Plugger.
Most likely, yes.
Ooh, you should bet.
We're also going to try and buy that die cast of Kyle Busch's
You should buy the Lego set and then build it on a podcast episode. We'll just make that the whole episode, you building it. That'd be so funny.
True. It'll just be me.
Ha. Nah. All right, now we're caught up. So the other really big announcement, well, big news that came out mostly about this week is so of course Kevin Harvick is retiring at the end of the season. He's been sponsored by Anheuser-Busch, the beer company, for a long time, prior even to his days at Stewart Haas. There's been a lot of rumors going around about who's going to get the Anheuser-Busch sponsorship once Harvick leaves, and the primary candidate seems to be Ross Chastain. Now, that's not necessarily a huge surprise, though it kind of is. I don't know. Because they've been around for a long time. They've been around since the 90s. they did the Junior Johnson car for first, then they did Dale Jr., then they did Casey Kane, then they did Kevin Harvick, and then Budweiser left because it was Budweiser for a long time. Then it was Busch Beer, Busch Light. Now it seems like it's going to be going to the one next year, which would be really weird, seeing Ganassi's longtime affiliation with Coors Light, back in more in their prime days too. Well, I guess I don't know, it was really prime days, but you get what I mean. I'm gonna get your thought. Do you think that's actually going to happen? Do you think it's what's going to happen with that?
I feel like it would be good to see
What you say?
that kind of stuff, because it'll be interesting to see what's the one has, and the only kind of cars we've seen like Budweiser and stuff like that, like you said, is the 8 car, the 4 car, the 9 car. So it'd be something interesting. And go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks that they might leave NASCAR entirely. We've seen a lot of beers drop off of sponsorships. Coors Light, obviously, but Miller Lite has been gone. Budweiser, I guess no, Busch Light took it over as the sponsor, same company, whatnot. I just don't know if they'll continue. NASCAR is obviously trying to cater more to the younger audience, like the very young audience, like children. And, they've always been very strict on, beers being on the cars. I mean, I've been playing NASCAR 05 all week. I'll get to that more later. But like, there's no beer sponsorships in the video games. The diecasts, if they have a beer sponsor on them, they have a stand or like a stupid screw thing you gotta get out. Sometimes they don't even have that. Sometimes they just take the beer sponsor off completely. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if they left. I also wouldn't be surprised if Busch Light does not get on the one car if they decide to maybe go back to Budweiser. Jackson pointed this out to me the other day when he talked to me about it a little bit. He basically said that Anheuser-Busch sponsorship has been affiliating with a lot of more hardworking, blue collar guys around in NASCAR. Think back to the Junior Johnson with Bill Elliott and whatnot. Later, not Bill Elliott, and then Dale Jr. obviously. Casey Kane, he said, was the exception. He was more of the ladies' man during his time, and then they went back to that with Kevin Harvick. And Ross Chastain does fit that persona perfectly, I would think. So it's not surprising that he's kind of the lead candidate in that regard. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Ross Chastain that takes it. They do seem to like to stick with Chevy. Because they stuck with, or Ford, the American companies. They did go to Dodge, but I guess Dodge is also kind of American too. I don't remember, but that was with Casey Kane. So, but it'll be quite interesting to see what happens there, for sure. A couple other news pieces. JDV Productions announced a bonus program that will be in the Wellen, I don't know how you pronounce it, Granite State Short Track Cup. You know what that is? It's a 3-race cup that takes place in New Hampshire. Not at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but across the state of New Hampshire. And I always think New Hampshire it's a small state. It's got a lot of mountains. I don't know how they can fit a lot of racetracks, but apparently they've got 4. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and then the 3 that they're racing this at. But there's gonna be like a bonus prizes and money and stuff like that, like $15,000 bonus prizes for winning, and then like the owners get like a $5,000 bonus or whatnot for winning. Little incentive there. To be honest, I did forgot that the Wellness Series even existed still. I didn't know that's what it was called anymore, but I guess it still is. So that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Pretty cool to know. Now we got some not great news. Hitmaster, you said you were asleep, so you must have missed this news.
Yeah.
Chase Elliott is out for Las Vegas. He broke his leg in a snowboarding accident. He will be getting surgery tomorrow. The time of this going up. Josh Berry is going to be stepping in to race. There's a lot of speculations going around that he's going to be out for a good long time. And honestly, I don't know how long. I don't know how long he'll be out. But this is very, very devastating news as a Chase Elliott fan, and as Hitmaster probably is devastated as well. Because I mean, obviously we saw Kyle Busch had his leg injury, which was not due to snowboarding accident; it was due to a big crash. He sat out a third of the season, but like Carl Edwards in 2010, I think he broke his leg and was racing. He didn't miss any time, so it really can go either way. I think. I want to get your reaction to this.
Who knows? Maybe Chase Elliott will come back and win the championship. Because technically, we still have that rule where all he needs to do is be in the top 30. And that's what Kyle Busch did. He was in the top 30 of the playoffs, and then he won the championship.
Well, you don't even need to be in the top 30 anymore. I think that was taken away this year. So I think he just needs to win a race and he's in. But obviously missing a race would set him pretty far back as far as getting in on points. Because he didn't finish great at Daytona, but he did finish second at Auto Club, so I mean that helps. But missing a race at this early in the season gives him an opportunity to come back, but not really a lot. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how long he's out for and how severe the injury is. I'm sure Hendrick Motorsports is furious because he went snowboarding, and that's why he got injured, not because of like a racing accident or anything like that. So we'll see what repercussions come from that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, one door closes, another opens. This is Josh Berry's chance to make some headway in NASCAR with a great ride. He's a 2-time winner at Las Vegas in the Xfinity Series. So, I don't know. I mean, he's going to have to start from the back, obviously. So,
I just lagged so bad.
I don't know. What are your thinks of his chances? How do you think he might do in this car for however long he's in it?
I don't.
He's probably faster than Ford.
I think he'll be good. Of course, he's not going to win the race. It would be shocking if he was. But I think he'll do good in his first start. He has a good team, like you said, with Hendrick Motorsports. And I just feel like he's going to do good. He'll probably get a top 10 at least, knowing that car is kind of fast, but it's new to him, so well, we'll see.
It'll be definitely interesting to see how it goes. But it sucks for Chase Elliott because this could be a career derailing crash. Hopefully not, but we'll have to see how that goes. That's all the news I had. Hitmaster, you got anything?
I did not find out anything about Corrigan Oil Speedway yet.
Interesting.
None at all.
I'll catch you up on
It's
it.
shocking because usually this would be the time to hear it.
Yeah, that's we're in March.
But,
and I'll just touch you up on a couple of the other news things. The Project 56 car is going to have the number 24 when they go to race in Le Mans. And Kurt Busch, by the way, is still not cleared to race. Still with concussion symptoms. So, it's It's been close to a year almost since it's crashed, so that's pretty surprising. After that, that's pretty much everything. I've been playing a lot of NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup. I completed my first season in the fight to the top mode, won the modified championship, and I won the truck championship. So then I started my own truck team. So my goal is to own a truck team, a Busch team, and a Cup team. I have a truck team. I have a driver for the truck. He missed the first race of the season because they didn't have enough money to hire him. So I had to run Daytona. And then he took over in week 2. And he's only about 100 points out of the championship right now. Winning a lot of races, so that's good. And I have enough money for a Busch team, but I'm not going to buy it until the end of the season because I want to win a Busch championship and get more skill points so that I can more Thunder plates. Because I have over half of the Thunder plates that you can get in the game. I've got all the paint schemes. I've got all the track variations. I'm starting to start working on the other drivers that you can unlock in the game. I've gotten a few already, including Dale Earnhardt. And then after that, the rest of the Thunder plates are just ones I don't know what they do, or just are ones I don't care about. So, not that worrisome. But this game is, and then of course, because I'll get skill points, I'll have to run another Cup season because it's 1.5 million for a Busch team, but it's 4 million for a Cup team, and I have about 1.7 million saved up right now for the Busch team. And then I'm gonna have to spend more money to hire a driver and get sponsorships and whatnot. So I got the rest. I think I'm post night race at Bristol right now in my second season. So, and I'm well on my way to a Busch championship. I'm up like 600 points. I'm up like 300 in the Cup series. But so I'm not worried about losing the championship, and I can lock those up. But then I gotta win some more races and make some more money and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. The game is so annoying. I am learning all sorts of the ins and outs of this game. I do think I'll be able to complete that final lightning challenge because I've gotten a lot better at drafting and sharing the draft and working about that. There's this really stupid thing. I don't know if I talked about this in the last episode when I reviewed the games, where prior to a qualifying session or prior to a race, sometimes they'll say, sometimes they'll give you an option like, your fans want your autograph. Do you want to sign autographs? And so you click, because then you're like, oh, you get prestige points if you do it, and you can get extra fans. I'm like, cool, let's go do that. And then it takes me into the autograph signing session. And you think, and you're in the garage, and fans are just swarming you, and you got to spam buttons to try and click X, triangle, square, circle. Like, they're literally spamming you. I literally just type, like, I just go like this, I just spam them, and I usually fail it, and end up losing like 2,000 fans. But then I don't do the autograph sessions, and they say my prestige is falling. Why are you not doing autograph sessions? Like, fine, I'll do it. It's so annoying. But whatever. And then some of the tracks are annoying too. One track that's really been pissing me off is Atlanta Motor Speedway, especially in the Cup Series, because Atlanta in that game, Daytona is really annoying too. Michigan International Speedway is also really annoying. Talladega I actually won at, surprisingly, but I cannot win at Daytona. One, because it comes down to the fact that the game's mechanics make the cars run really loose. And especially in the Cup Series where you're going faster, you run very loose. In Atlanta, that's a huge problem because you're going like almost 200 around Atlanta, which I think is way too fast for that actual track. Well, not now, but back in 2005, yes, I would have said that. So I usually end up and a car will come up right behind me, and then no reason whatsoever, my car just gets loose. I slide to the bottom, overcorrect, and I'm backwards facing the field, and I get into a huge crash, lose all of my skill points, and fell to dead last. Ended up losing the goddamn race. Michigan, same thing. I fucking finished dead last in the Cup race there because I got loose off turn 4. I was in New Hampshire as well, and I had like a 4-second lead. It was on the last lap, and I'm close to the 2,000 skill points mark, so I say, all right, I'm gonna let off the gas and try and get these final skill points. And I end up getting stopped at the start finish line and end up losing the race and finish fourth because I didn't. So I tried to get more skill points and ended up backfiring on me. Oh well, that's great. That'll be enough. And then I ended up almost flipping a car at what was that at? Fuck, what was that at? Was that in I don't remember what truck. I think it was Indy Raceway Park. Indy Raceway Park. I think I almost flipped my car there. I hit the pit wall at the Brickyard 400 on the last lap while leading the race. Finished dead last there because, fuck the pit wall. But I'm still dominating the point standings, so it doesn't matter. But just trying to get all the skill points at this point. And if I need more skill points, though, I can obviously dive into the speed zone stuff and do some of that. But I think once I have, by the time the third season's over, and I hopefully have enough money for a cup team, and I can be done, and I can also do the last lightning challenge, then I should have enough skill points to buy all the thunder plates and be done with it. And I can move on to maybe doing a little bit more stuff in 07, though there isn't really much else to do. Maybe at that point I'll have 06 and 03 as well, and I can work on those games and review those. So that would be quite insane. But who knows?
There's one news that I found out. That we might not even be able to play iRacing on controller. With this update, they might be taking away controller use. I'll have to find out. Because when I was in a race last night, I was at iRacing Speedway, which so beautiful. I was racing there, and then someone said they might be taking away controller cars or controller use. And I'm just like, they better not. I use that 24/7. But I'm gonna have to look at the patch notes for
Yeah, you might want to pull that up and see what's going on there, because that would be quite an L if they were taking away use of controller. Does controller also mean you can't use a keyboard, or can you still use a keyboard? Or is it like complete shit to use a keyboard?
I don't think you're able to use keyboard.
Well, I
don't think you're able to use keyboard. You're only able to use.
So they're forcing you to use a wheel? What the hell?
Really? No. Yeah, they would have to for an update has been published. Okay, that's not what I want. iRacing credit expire. Don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't see anything about that, but we'll just have to see.
I don't know. Unless they were like planning on profiting off of buying the wheels, I don't know why they would take away the use of the controllers. Doesn't really seem like it gives you any advantage or disadvantage in the game to do it that way.
Well, see, the thing is, I feel like what they're going to do is take away the controller use, and then they're going to make a wheel that has the exact same kind of usage as this, but for less.
You think they're
So
going to
they may work
their
with
own
Sony,
product?
they work with the Xbox, and they're going to make... I mean, they could. I mean, they could work with Sony, they could work with Xbox company, and they could just put together where you can like make one of those wheels, and you can put this in there, and it counts as a wheel.
But like,
instead of having to use these.
Now, I guess they could, but at that point, wouldn't it just be a piece of plastic, like a Wii wheel? Like they would have to.
Like this.
Yeah, wouldn't it just be because like a Wii wheel, you stick the Wii remote in the wheel, and then it just feels like you're actually driving. But the wheel itself doesn't have any extra functionality. It doesn't. You don't require to use it. So I don't know. So that, see, they would have to figure out a way to tap the power of the wheel into the controller, and it could do it like that. And then it would have to have. I don't know. And if they were going to work with a big company on this, they would probably have to make iRacing a little bit more accessible, a little bit more mainstream on console. Especially since like PlayStation is not really into the PC market. Xbox is a little farther along in that. So I guess they might want to work with Microsoft a little bit more. But I don't know. But it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Well, unless, like you said, they work with a big company and make their own product. It really just doesn't make sense why they'd want to do that. It doesn't seem like something that really have to do, unless.
Right.
Those are the shit. Where do you find
So
those?
that just doesn't.
Where do you
Yeah,
find it? They were
that would suck, but it would be quite unfortunate if they had to do that. But
Oh, I'm gonna need some.
alas,
Bro, I'm about to open up a raw
I don't know.
It'll suck if it's the case, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I guess the wheel would be good, but I've always liked playing NASCAR games on a controller. Now in the Wii, I use the Wii wheel when I play Wii racing games, just because I've always been used to it that way. But it's not like any sort of necessary advantage. I do like playing. I don't have a controller with me right now, but I've been playing a lot of Thunder 2005. Okay, I'm used to the DualShock controller. I'm used to the all that kind of stuff. So it'd be quite weird, but I don't know. I guess I could use a wheel. Wouldn't be any massive issue. Oh, you said last episode you were going to try and hook that Mario wheel up into to iRacing and try it.
So it works good. Okay. It works good. I can use these things. I don't know if you guys see it, but I can use these things for like shifting
Okay.
and all that. The thing about it is when you turn, there's a late reaction. So when I turn this way, about right there is when it turns. I also tried it with NASCAR Rivals. Did not work at all. And
Interesting.
the sad thing is, I have these pedals. But they're so damn close together, I have to use my two big toes just to push down.
But do they work though?
And one of my toes hurts. They work. They work perfectly fine.
Wow.
I mean, I did a test at Bristol while using the truck, and I'm just like, it's good, but I don't want to have to keep doing this because I have to either stand up and use the wheel or put it near my dresser and put it straight there and hope that it doesn't move. So I don't have
Is there a way
thing.
to like only need to use the wheel if your feet are hurting? Like, is there like a way to accelerate and stuff with the wheel only, or is it? Because I know, like obviously, like
The only way I could say it would work is if you just have the A button. You could use the A button, but if you want to do a little bit, if you want to slowly get on the gas, you can't because you just have to push the A down and just like it would just go automatically for you, and then you'll spin, and then it's just. Other than that, it works.
Well, interesting. Damn, if I still had my old racing wheel that was themed to Carl Edwards. I could probably use that for iRacing. We sold that a long time ago. But yeah, like I said in the past episode, I'm not gonna be getting into iRacing anytime soon. Not until I make a little bit more of have a little more liquid income.
Right.
Maybe this summer if I get that internship, and then I will be able to have more time to do it. But we'll see. I don't know. Still grinding out Thunder 2005 at this moment. That's gonna take me a while too. Not ready for that, and also hopefully I can get back to extra levels soon. I can get NASCAR 06 and Thunder 2003, and work on those. That would be fun to, especially Thunder 2003. I think that's gonna be a really fun game to play. And 06 would be fun too. So
I've also got 2 amiibos, 2 newer ones.
Oh.
You guys probably already have both. Well, actually, you do have both, but I'm just going to use this. I have Yarn Yoshi.
Ooh, the blue one. Blue Yarn
Little
Yoshi.
Yarn Yoshi. And then I have
Oh, Gryffindor. That's not
Ganondorf.
Oh, Ganondorf. Why the fuck did I say Gryffindor?
I bought this.
What the fuck?
My coworker has a lot of these, and he said he would sell them to me, but I didn't know he was going to sell them to me for $5.
Damn. Ganondorf
So
is
I got
not-
a deal there.
Ganondorf's
I think
one of
that's
the
the
older
Japan
ones.
port.
Yeah, that's he's one of the older amiibos. The Yarn Yoshis too. They were one of the earlier waves. Pretty cool. Fuck. What did I? Oh, I gotta go back to extra levels as well because our copy of Snake Rattle and Roll doesn't work on the NES, so we gotta see if we can get that repaired or traded in or whatnot. And I also have 2 copies of NASCAR 2011, the game for the Wii. So I might take one of those in and see what I can get for it. So
I love NASCAR 2011. Had it for the PS3, and I actually went online and I met these weird guys that said, "Hey, do you want to join our league?" And I'm like, "League?" He goes like, "Yeah, we race it every Sunday." I'm like, "Okay." So we would race the league. I would lose all the time, but I think my only win was at Talladega because I pushed the guy to the white flag, and then on the third turn, I'm in 4th because I know there's something bad going to happen. And of course, I use the Wonder Bread 26 car,
wild.
and I used the Ricky Bobby car, and those guys wrecked each other, and I got about that close from getting into the wreck, but I barely missed, and I just won the race. I'm like, I won.
Wild. I don't mind NASCAR 2011, the game. I think it's... I don't know, it's because I play with a Wii wheel and a Wii remote. I might just be the controls are a little more sensitive. I don't know. I still think it's a pretty decent game, though. That's what I do like about NASCAR 05 is versus Thunder 2004. It's it's kind of a pro and con situation because one, there's a lot more wrecks and more simulated crashes, like ones that you don't cause, which make the game a lot more interesting, especially during these long career races. And also, sorry about my brother in the background. But also, it's also easier to spin out, which, kind of sucks, but oh well. I guess there is the option to get the handling fixed and I could tighten my car up, but I don't know if that would actually work since I don't play with tire wear enabled and all that kind of stuff, so maybe, I don't know, but it's a pretty fun thing. Alright, unless you got anything else, I think it's time to preview this weekend at Las Vegas. In fact, the truck race is already So I might watch that while this is uploading. Yep, all three
I'm
series.
definitely gonna watch it.
All three series are in town. Racing. So who? I guess we'll have to. I guess we could check the standings for the truck race right now.
I should have had it on.
On lap 19, Kyle Busch is winning. Who do we think
Oh wow.
who's gonna win this weekend? Start with the trucks.
I'm gonna hate saying this. Kyle Busch.
I'll also say Kyle Busch. It's kind of hard to pick against him in this situation. And now for the Xfinity race. Like Chandler Smith's on the pole.
Since the day me and Audrey broke up, I had sent her
Who we got? Who we got at the Xfinity race this weekend?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
This is gonna suck, but
11,
Kyle Busch.
13,
You gonna pick Kyle Busch? I'm not gonna pick Kyle Busch.
20, 21, 22,
He's starting in 11th.
The only reason I
29.
You know what? Who am I gonna pick? I'm gonna pick Anthony Alfredo because I'm craving some Alfredo style pasta sometimes, and you know what? I need him to win a race. That's what I'm gonna do. He's starting 23rd, so it's pretty unlikely, but anything is possible.
Special.
and who's starting on the pole for Las Vegas?
The Cup Series, Kyle Busch. No, that's the Auto Club race. Hold on.
What if I turn gay?
Oh, doesn't seem like the qualifying time
find
is out yet. Probably qualifying tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
But no Chase Elliott, no, and Josh Berry filling in definitely changes the outlook of just not just this race, but the rest of the season entirely. Quite honestly, I can't pick Kyle Busch to win this race. I just can't pick him to win back-to-back races. I just don't see it happening. Though I do think he's going to put up a good fight in this race. Joey Logano, I think, is going to run really well. We've seen him run well at Las Vegas in the past. I think Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson, who both had very good runs at Las Vegas last year in this race, I think will both put up good runs again, especially probably Kyle Larson. I don't know about Alex Bowman, really. Quite honestly, though,
That was an acid shot. We'll get this girl right here. She's so low.
who?
I think that.
Yep.
So, I'm not going to be one of those people and pick Kyle Busch to sweep. Though I do think he's going to run very well, and he's going to be the most laps led. I think, and I'm going to say this like last week, Kevin Harvick's going to win and make himself into the playoffs one final time.
See, I think
Because it seems like to me,
continue.
oh, sorry, it was just lagging. It seemed like almost half the drivers that have retired or done something has at least won one race before they leave. Like with Jeff Gordon, even though he wasn't supposed to win that race, he won at Martinsville, placed himself into the playoffs, even though he probably would have been locked in the playoffs by just doing that. And then I'm trying to think who else. I actually can't think of anybody else.
I agree with you.
Mark Martin?
Yeah,
No.
Mark Malnaughton's last season. I agree with you that Harvick is going to win a race this season and probably get into the playoffs. I don't think it's going to be at Las Vegas, though. I could see it being at Phoenix, which is the next race. That's a very likely possibility. He could be also at MIS, I think. That's also a very likely possibility. There's definitely a lot of other tracks I think he could win at, but I don't think Las Vegas is going to be his weekend. I could be wrong. I could be very well wrong. So, I'll go on a limb. I'll pick Tyler Reddick to win this race. How about that? I think I picked him to win the Daytona 500 too, and I was horrifically wrong. But he has not had a good start to the season. Two wrecks. Not very competitive at all because of it. And I think it's time he gets this season, his debut season with 2311 on track.
You still want to peek it. You still want to peek it after I did all that.
All right, your turn. Who you got this weekend? Oh, you picked Kevin Harvick. Fuck, that's right. I'm a little off tonight.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's going to do it for this podcast. It was a little bit of a train wreck because that's okay. I know it came up late, and that's all right too.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. All right. We got to be better. We'll be better next week because we're getting a guest next week. We're a Pringle Son and Company. There will be a Pringle Son and Company representative on site at the Las Vegas Cup race this weekend, and they will need to be here next week to talk about their experience at the race. So, who that will be? Well, you'll find out. We need to be. That will be determined next. That'll be. You'll find out next week. So. That's going to do it for this episode, though. Stay tuned. Everybody, thank you, Hitmaster, for waking up and coming on. Till next time, we will see you guys next week. Goodbye.